Hey, good people, fellow truth seekers. It's been a few days since I did a video. Apologies. Thank you for your patience. This is the 88th post, and I like to go by the numbers as well. 88's a big one in this nation. Real quick, some 88 words in gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. The name George Washington sums to 88. Uncle Sam sums to 88. The word program sums to 88. The word poison sums to 88. The word maleficent sums to 88. They brought that movie out 55 years after The Nicer Tale Disney did. The word Exodus, many other words equal 88. Also, for this post, we're going to be talking about the Titanic. The Titanic, the boat. Most people know it as a movie. And the way that connects to 88 is that after September 11th, there was something called the Tribute to Light, where in New York City and Manhattan sky, they shot up two giant purple beams. It almost looked like something out of Batman. And each of those lamps had 44 smaller lamps inside it, making the giant beam, so a total of 88 lamps. You can look up all the stats on this Tribute to Light. Look it up. It's all out there. Plenty of sources. You can even see how much energy it used. There's a lot. And 88 also connects with 118 and 811. Those are important dates in history. James Madison really liked that date, January 18th. The corporation Microsoft sums to 118, 118. The phrase "just do it" from Nike sums to 118. They have a lot of these other connections. But anyway, let's go through the gematria. I'm going to tell you about the Titanic, and then let's take that knowledge and let's pair it with what Red Pill Revolution is going to teach. I got his video on behind me. I'll adjust the screen so you can see it better. But let's get into the Titanic. Before I knew about this gematria practice of coding words into numbers, I was learning about things such as the conspiracy behind the Titanic with the Britannic and the Olympic. I don't want to talk about all that. There's videos like this out there. I want to talk about the gematria and what I believe I've added to the research that's already out there, because I don't see anybody else covering this. So, 14 years before the Titanic crash, there was a book written called Futility, Wreck of the Titan, where the largest ship ever built, with almost the same specifications as the real-life Titanic, crashed on an iceberg in April, just like the actual Titanic, and it was written 14 years before 1912 when the Titanic happened. But notice how similar the names Titan and Titanic are. Once upon a time, I noticed that, and I just thought that was the proof. But now I understand it deeper. I understand why it's Titanic with the IC ending. First, let's notice that the gematria of Titanic sums to 76. The word, or the name, Knight of Templar sums to 76. Many companies have 76 names, even the gas station, which just is 76, but things such as T-Mobile equals 76, and a million others. Read my blog. Okay, so anyway, when you add on that Titanic, when you add on that IC, you add the numbers 9, 3. Let me get that more centered. 9, 3. That is the most important number in the occult religion Thelema. It's tied into all this other stuff. I don't understand it completely because, I'm not practicing it, I'm researching it, but I see how all this stuff links up, the web of life. So anyway, the book was written by an author named Morgan Robertson. This is the man who wrote about the crash of the Titan in Futility, Wreck of the Titan, 1898. His name was Morgan Robertson. Notice the name Robert in there too, which has the 33 gematria. The title, or his name, sums to 77. When you add an S onto the phrase Knight of Templar, make it Knights of Templar, it sums to 77. The American meridian is the 77th meridian. It cuts through Washington, D.C. and the Pentagon, which is 77 feet tall. It was Flight 77 that hit the Pentagon on 9/11, if you can believe it. Okay. In this book, Futility, Wreck of the Titan, the main character is John Rowland. John has a gematria of 47. Roland has the gematria of 33. In the book 1984, the main character is Winston, also has a gematria of 33. You look through classical fiction, lots of 33, 47 names. It seems to be the rule. So, some more stuff. Futility, Wreck of the Titan, published in 1898. 14 years later, the Titanic actually sinks, just like in the book Futility, Wreck of the Titan by Morgan Robertson, on the night of April 14th and goes all the way underwater, submerges early April 15th, just like Abraham Lincoln, shot late on April 14th, died early April 15th. Just not long after this. Following that event in history was the formulation of the Federal Reserve that happened December 15th, 1913, I think, going off memory. December, don't quote me on the 15th, but it wasn't December. We're going to watch this in a second. That's what he's going to talk about. He's going to say the whole root of everything wrong in the world is the Federal Reserve, and I don't know if he quite meant that. I agree with pretty much everything in his video, but the root of it isn't the Federal Reserve. The root of it is the people who made the Federal Reserve. It's more like their linchpin, their anchor for the slavery they have put upon us. So this year, or not this year, excuse me, in 2012 was the 100-year anniversary of the Titanic sinking. And on the date January 13th, 2012, that happens to be the day I bought my house for the first time. Go me. Just kidding, people. That was a mistake. Anyhow, January 13th, 113, that other number they love, there was the sinking of the Costa Concordia. And in the narrative of that, there was this hero, this 33-year-old male Indian. Back then, I didn't know what gematria was. None of this even stood out to me. I just read it and believed it. 33-year-old Indian male. The gematria of Indian is 33. 33. Probably why Christopher Columbus, CC, sees the third letter in the alphabet, called them Indian, you think? Rebello, also, his name is Russell Rebello, this Indian savior, the 33-year-old man. The name Rebello sums to 33, mass up there. And that name Russell, his first name, has that coded 311, the reverse of 113. So here, let's get some more of that math. I was telling you Knights of Templar equals 76 and 77. Here's the math. Sorry about the scribble. Knight of Templar equals 76. If you added an S onto the end of Knights, S reduces to 1. It just makes the whole thing 1 bigger. So Knights of Templar equals 77. The word Titanic equals 76. The author name Morgan Robertson equals 77. If you think it's all a coincidence, you need to read more of my post, and I'll tell you some more in a second to show you it's not a coincidence. Knights of Templar are said to be the original Freemasons, established 1119. Here, that Titan to Titanic. Remember I said the adding of the 9-3, the most important number in Thelema? Here's another big lie in history. The Titanic's won. Think about the Titanic, guys, and all the stories made about it, Where is the part about how 4 of the world's richest men died? I've never heard that before. I didn't hear about that until I started hearing the conspiracy theorists speak. And I said, oh, really? That's interesting. Can you imagine if a plane crashed or a boat sank today and 4 of the world's richest men died? Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, George Soros, whoever else you want to name. There's so many of them, right? Donald Trump, all these corny people we see on the TV. Trying to find something here. I wanted to get into the movie aspect. Maybe it's on the back here. Yeah, anyway, so that number 93, which gets added on with the IC, because I is the 9th letter and C is the 3rd. Think of the World Trade Center lie. 93 World Trade Center bombing to September 11th, 2001 was a span of 3,119 days. Look at the number 311 and 119 within that span. The phrase I am in gematria it becomes 9113 in letters to numbers, the reverse of 3119. Also, the date September 11th, 2001. In gematria, you can sum the month, day, and year all to a single digit unless it's a multiple of 11, so you don't need to reduce 11. That date becomes 9113 because 2001 becomes 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1. It has this same phrase as I am. With regards to the World Trade Center, you guys, 33 years before it came tumbling to the ground, 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. World Trade Center construction began, and George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. That was 1968, the same year MLK and RFK were assassinated. The World Trade Center would officially open 5 years to the day of the assassination of MLK, if you can believe it. And that's not a coincidence. I mean, these people are doing things by the numbers on these anniversaries, and they are legit killers. So the way they think is not how we think. And these legit killers, they make movies glorifying their horrible things. Do you remember the Titanic movie? If you are my age, I know you remember it. If you're a female, you probably saw it multiple times. The star was Leonardo DiCaprio. If you look at his birthday, he's born 11/11/74. 74 has a numerology of 11. That date in numerology also sums to 96. James Cameron's the director. He's one of many directors with a 33 name, from Ron Howard to Francis Ford Coppola to so many more. Seems like almost all of Hollywood is 33. And if you look at the music credits for almost every movie, I'm not kidding you, almost every single movie I've seen since I've been aware of this, they have a 33. And music is so important. There is something going on there. That deserves some further research in itself. Anyhow, James Cameron, look at the movies he's done over the years. Terminator, maybe you guys have seen before how there's the caution 9/11 up in that movie. People point to that. He made, what's his most recent movie with the Pandora planet? Pandora's a 33 word. Abyss equals 66. If you watch my blogs, I've showed you how 33 and 66 connect. If you write out the word 33 and sum it all in gematria, it sums to 66. It's just you guys. The reason this is important is because it's just further proof behind what everyone already sees. Like, this information was already out there that there was a Titanic conspiracy, and since I learned about it, I've tried to share it with people I know in my life, and some people thought it's interesting, but most people are like, Zach, that is so kooky. That is so kooky. Well, anyway, let's listen to what Red Pill Revolution has to say about the Titanic and just pair it with the knowledge I just shared with you. So let me try to get you set up good here. All right, here we go.
Deceived, manipulated, enslaved. What is the root?
I'm going to rewind, guys. I don't know why I went to the middle of the movie. Oh, it's going even further. Bear with me. Shoot. Oh, we lost it. We lost it. You know what, guys? Sorry, that would have been good to show, but you know what? I don't need to show it necessarily. I'm just going to link it down in the comments. So thank you, Red Pill Revolution. Thank you for the work you do. I want people to see that as well. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in. Take care. Encore. I forgot to make one important point. There is a book out there written more recently called The Final Jihad, and it was written by the brother of the then governor of Oklahoma at the time of the Timothy McVeigh bombing. And in this book, the main character's name is Tom McVeigh, and he blows up the Oklahoma City building. The book also has a plot of planes being flown into the World Trade Centers. And this book was written prior to both of those events occurring. And think about that. The brother of the governor of Oklahoma. If you go look up this book, you can check it out at most libraries, The Final Jihad. I live in a small town, and I can even get that book here. Just like Futility, Wreck of the Titan. I've checked out both those books at my small town local library. If you look at the name next to the author, there is a skull and bones there. And it just seems so deliberate. Earlier I talked about George W. Bush being born 33 years before 9/11. His birthday is July 6th, 1946. If you do 7 plus 6 plus 1 plus 9 plus 4 plus 6, it sums to 33. He was a member of Skull and Bones, as was John Kerry, who ran against him in 2004. All these men have the name gematria, the birthdays. It's hard to believe once you look at it. They look like Manchurian human beings, and possibly they are. So this is the knowledge I'm trying to share. There's other information about the conspiracy, how it connected to the Federal Reserve, how the men who died were the opposition. I could give you guys that if you want narratives like that. Say that down in the comments. I can speak on those things. I just want you to realize that my post, you guys, what I'm trying to do is just supplement what's already out there. I'm trying to show you how there's an actual numeric coding within our very own language behind all this wrongdoing. And when you start to unravel that code and understand it, this world starts to make a whole lot more sense. Please subscribe. Please check out my other posts. Thanks for tuning in.